The President's emergency plan for AIDS relief has already saved over 20 million lives, so it's imperative to optimize our supply chain to continue supporting this initiative. We've assembled a team of consultants whose aptitudes and experience span synergistically across Francesco Correa's data scientist archetypes. I'm Alex Alvarez, the project manager and strategist, and my profile fits within the mastermind category. Next up, we have James Santiago, our Babelians and data interpreters, followed by Jessica as our catalyst and support specialist. Last but not least, we have Damon, our advocate, whose mission is to promote our scientific approach. In the last few weeks, we've identified that late deliveries are a problem that could have severe financial and logistical ramifications, such as having to store excess inventory and ending up delivering medicines with a shorter shelf life. So we've laid the foundation to estimate the likelihood of late shipments by leveraging the power of automated machine learning to deploy a predictive model at a later stage. We've also prepared a proposal for your consideration when that time comes. Now, you mentioned that you wanted us to explain our approach, but we've only got 5 minutes, so feel free to ask any questions at the end of this presentation. We began by exploring the 10,000 records you provided, which, as we know, is only a small subset of your procurement transactions. A first step was to import the CSV file into a data visualization software to quickly detect key relationships between the different variables. We refer to these variables as features throughout our report. We then curated the dataset to correct syntax errors and used this file to train Data Robot, which is a software we chose for automated machine learning. You'll find a summary of the changes we made in Appendix F of our report. Data Robot helped us identify the features that had the greatest impact on late deliveries, and after a scientific process of validation and refinement, we arrived at a deployment-ready model that can be used to drastically improve our ability to make these predictions. The dataset wasn't perfect, but it was good enough to derive some valuable insights. For example, unit price, dosage, and molecule all had a non-Gaussian distribution pattern with a long tail and many outliers. What that means in plain English is that when viewed in isolation, these features don't provide much value. We also detected that ocean and truck shipments were more prone to delays than air deliveries, and there was evidence of multicollinearity between some features. So we chose to discard the redundant ones from our process. Again, for details, please refer to our report. Now here's where it gets interesting. The features country and vendor seem to have a drastic impact on late deliveries, but this alone does not tell the full story. For example, the worst performing countries included Burundi with 46% and Congo with 22%, but they only amounted to 4% of all entries, so it wasn't statistically significant. In contrast, South Africa and Nigeria amounted to 25% of all entries, so this was heavily skewed. Improving our data collection accuracy would deliver immediate value across the board, but especially for these countries. And as far as vendors go, Aurobindo Pharma had the highest propensity for late deliveries at 14%. Now let's explore the predictive model itself. The one recommended by Data Robot had an accuracy of 81%, which represents the proportion of total cases that were predicted correctly. The proportion of late deliveries that were predicted correctly was lower at 64%, labeled as sensitivity, and the model's precision rating was only 32%, meaning that further refinement will be required. Nevertheless, after comparing with others, we found it to be a suitable candidate for deployment, and once full access is enabled, we are confident that we'll be able to achieve a high degree of predictability. Now, for our proposal, here are our top 3 recommendations. First, to conduct a PESTLE analysis to evaluate these relevant factors for countries and manufacturing sites with a history of late shipments. This would help identify threats and opportunities outside the organization's direct control to support a sound risk management strategy. Second, to give us access to historical data and larger data sets so that we can build a more comprehensive model and even run regressions in Excel to derive more definitive conclusions, such as which manufacturers offer the best value and which vendors are best suited to service each region. Third and final, we invite you to consider the establishment of a dedicated data analytics team in-house and to implement better processes for data collection, since our collective ability to make accurate predictions is fully dependent on the quality of the data we gather and the expertise of the team that analyzes it. A quick note about the bottom line. Nearly half of our sample data had missing values, and we could do much better than that. So it would be valuable to invest in more accurate data collection efforts because lives literally depend on it. Thank you for your attention.